All right, welcome into Grilled by Angus. Almost forgot my own name. Today, joined by the mastermind, Kevin Cannon.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Oh, so happy to have you on. You've been one of those guests that I've been thinking about since I started. So I'm gonna get Cannon on.
Oh, I'm honored.
Dude, just a beauty all around.
Oh man, you're too kind.
Yeah, I fell in love with you as a wrestler. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm still a mark when it comes to wrestling.
We all are. We wouldn't be in this business. Nobody's in it to get rich at this level. I'll tell you that. Yeah, you're not in it unless you're a fan.
Yeah, and exactly that. And I'm blessed to be doing commentary because doing what you guys did when I did that 6 weeks of training, I'm like, no.
Yeah, it's not ballet.
Yeah, no, and it's I remember Sanchez told me, he's like, it's gonna feel like you got hit by a car.
Oh yeah.
And for 6 weeks, I'm like, it feels like I got hit by a car. And I'm doing the basics.
Right, yeah, just learning to get through that one, spot in the rumble, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, greatest moment of my life.
Oh, yeah. Oh, without a doubt. For sure.
The only thing that could top it at this point is getting put through a table. That's all I want.
Careful what you ask for.
I know. Because it's going to hurt way more than I think it is.
You know what? The only time it hurts is when the table doesn't break.
Ugh.
Then it hurts. When you go through, it's kind of like, you're so ready for it, you're braced for it, and whatever, and then it's just like, oh, that's what I was worried about. But when it doesn't break and you just hit it, it's kind of a thud, and you almost bounce and slide off. It's like, oh my god, that sucks.
What is the worst weapon to deal with when you're out there?
The absolute worst, and not that this is a common one. Back in the early 2000s, it was very commonplace to have all these hardcore matches and hardcore championships. It was, kind of flavor of the month, right? And they would do a lot of these fans bring the weapons, battle royals or matches or whatever, and I dreaded those. And somebody brought, IKEA wasn't in Winnipeg yet, but it was an IKEA, cheaply put together $30 little nightstand, shelf, whatever kind of thing. So this guy, Dick Blood, that he wrestles under, was in there with me, and he takes just, one of the boards off the shelf, and he just cracked me across the ass with it, and it felt like an electric shock shot up my spine and ended at the base of my neck, and I did a Tom and Jerry jump in the air and hold my ass and shout. It was the most pain I have ever felt.
Yeah, no faking that one.
No.
Holy, yeah, because it's I've been watching WPW, obviously WWE, I watched during the PG era, so I didn't realize how intense it could get, and then it's all of a sudden you watch death matches, you're like, holy fuck.
Yeah, that's, I'm glad, I'm very if I absolutely have to, I'll do, something, not to that level, but a spot or something, that involves weapons or going through furniture or whatever, but I'm very glad that that's not a big in-style thing anymore. That's something that's kind of okay, people want to love you and they want to hate you, and I'm like, hey, that's my bread and butter. They want to feel something, right? They want a reason to come back and boo you, or a reason to come back and cheer the guy that's in there across the ring from you. And it's not, hey, we just want to see violence anymore, thank God.
Yeah, because it's blood is cool and all, but
sure.
Honestly, being 12 feet away from the ring and it's that's a lot of blood
this
time around.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when it's unexpected, too.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, there was not that long ago, and it was in Dauphin. There wasn't many people there. I was wrestling James Roth, and very early in the match, something happened where I think we were just kind of locked up, and he shoved me off, and I took a nice big jump and turn, and just smoked my lip on the middle rope, and that's, just steel cable wrapped in garden hose, essentially, and just my lip busted open, I feel blood trickling down. I'm like, oh, and I think James even heard me across the ring, like, oh, fuck. And I'm like, all right, we got 12 more minutes here. We're 11 and a half minutes of our 12 minutes left here, and I'm pouring blood out my mouth. Let's go, man.
Yeah. Keep going. Really feel like old Stone Cold on that one.
Totally, yes.
So, what was the match, or who was the wrestler that really made you fall in love with it when you were growing up?
Oh, when I was a kid, and it's funny, we had this conversation not long ago in the locker room, because these guys are all of different, age generation than me, and they're like, my first time watching wrestling, I remember seeing John Cena and this and that, and I'm like, well, I'm a little older than you guys. I said, so the world was a different place in the 80s when I was a young kid. I go, we had Saturday morning cartoons, and for a child, that was destination viewing. That's the only time, really, with a few exceptions, that cartoon shows were on. So it would go, G.I. Joe, He-Man, Transformers, and in the middle of all that was this WWF cartoon. So to me, these guys were superheroes on par with Optimus Prime and He-Man kind of thing. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, they really exist and they come to your town and it's no way, these guys are real. Wow, So then that, and obviously Hulk Hogan was at the forefront of it, and everybody, all my friends have the Hulk Hogan gym shirt set, with like the kind of the tank top and the headband and the little like 3-pound weight, the jump rope that came with that kind of stuff, right? Like it was all about that, and then. It kind of fizzled for a bit. Like I always, kept a finger on the pulse of it, but wasn't the super fan I was for my childhood. And then as I got into my early teens, kind of same thing. Like a bunch of buddies were watching and talking about it. And so this was 92, 93. And at that era was Shawn Michaels. Like to me, and I couldn't articulate it back then of why I liked him so much, but I just knew like, man, this guy's good. And this guy makes me get into it. And this guy, I'm hanging on every move and every word of every promo and every part of every match that he's in, and he's just grabbed me, whether he's playing a villain or playing a hero or whatever his role was. He always just grabbed me, and now looking back it's like, oh, now I know why. He's just that damn good, and he knows all the little things that he does right, and he just knows how to work to his opponent's strengths. And he's really one of those guys where like, hey man, between him and Bret Hart, they're the two where you can list all these guys and their best match of their career was probably either against Shawn or either against Bret. Like if you start going down the list of like Scott Hall, Kurt Angle, Undertaker, all these guys, it's like, yeah, their best match was Shawn Michaels kind of thing.
Yeah, because like I'm starting to watch a lot of that early 90s WWF and I'm like, this is good. Like, and especially you bring up both Bret and Shawn, it's like, wrestling would not be what it is without those two at this point.
Absolutely not. They carried the burden from like 91, 92 when Hogan left all the way up to the Attitude Era, which was, 97, 98 when that took off. It was just those two.
Those are some rough Monday Night
Oh,
Raws.
Yes.
She's like, just anyone, please step up. Oh, it's Blue Blazer shoes.
Yes. Oh, yeah, there were some rough ones there when they were wheeling out Mantar and the Portuguese Man of War. Like, it was just like, oh, okay, And, now on these the podcast with Bischoff or Bruce Pritchard or whoever, like, well, the business comes and goes in cycles. Like, no, man, look at the shit you were putting on TV. Don't use that bullshit.
Well, you say it comes and goes in cycles because it's like you as a character kind of feel like you're an evolution of the early 2000s, mid 2000s.
Right.
And as you've seen it come and go, because you've been at this for, 25, 30 years now?
Yeah, 99 I had my first match. Yeah, 27 years now. Yeah. Holy crap. Yeah.
And so just like as the evolution has gone, how does that factor into like who you are every single night? Like do you have to change as it goes, or
a little? Like I don't like to be stale, right? So I definitely have evolved. And the funny part is over the last, I don't know, probably dozen or so years, I really just haven't had the time to watch the current, WWE, AEW, TNA, whatever product on television. Like we'll watch WrestleMania and Royal Rumble and that kind of thing at a buddy's house, but I'm not overly familiar with a lot of what goes on. I think that's a good thing because whether it be consciously or subconsciously, I'm not just emulating the current thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking back and I try to make a point of when I can to source out on YouTube or Dailymotion, whatever, an older match to watch at least 4 or 5 times a week. It's like, okay, cool, here's this, and especially now they've released so much. There's so much there at your fingertips, right?
Yeah.
It's like, cool, here's this 1987 match between Rick Martel and Jim Brunzell. I'm like, let's check this out. And now that and who knows, I may have seen it as a kid, but now that I'm watching with a little more kind of knowing what to watch for, I'm like, oh wow, watch how they kind of do this, and watch how that really makes the people react, and watch how he's giving him time to get into position here by filling that dead air with this or whatever it is. They're doing it very well. So I like to take little bits and pieces of those aspects of things and put them into my character. So that's kind of where I grow and develop. I'm using older stuff from before to help me not stay stale and evolve myself, and I'm not really pulling so much from modern and current product.
Yeah, well, I mean, you watch that modern product. I'm kind of in the same boat where I'm not watching a lot of new stuff unless it is with Winnipeg Pro.
Right.
It's because it's like, for me, it's like watching acrobats, and it's cool. It's cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. But
sure. Yeah. Incredibly athletic.
Yes, but there's just something so different about it where it's like I kind of want to see a fight.
Yeah, you want it to look like they're actually trying to win and not they're trying to execute a series of moves and maneuvers and athletics that they've come up with in their head. And there's something to be said for that. It's funny because with with CWE, who I also work for on top of WPW, so they're a little more of a touring model where we go across from Alberta to Ontario, and the business model of that is there's always a headliner that's usually a former WWE, TNA, WCW star. And so it's great because we're able to pick the brains. And, sometimes you're sitting in the car for 6, 7, 8 hours with these guys. Never mind, you're going out to eat after, or in the locker room, whatever, or in the ring with them even. And so a few of these guys lately have said, you know what, I think what WWE is doing, almost by design, is they're just training these guys and girls to just memorize this series of moves and not get in there and feel it out anymore, so that if they part ways with the company, they don't know how to, quote unquote, work. They just know how to memorize their spots and go out there and execute them. And kind of case in point, probably a month or so ago now, there was the NXT women's title match, and I don't know the names. One of them was Mariah May in AEW. I don't know what her NXT name is. But the championship changed hands by accident, and that went viral, and everybody's sharing it. Like, oh my God, this girl landed on the other girl, knocked the wind out of her. She didn't kick out. We had a new champion by accident. And then I kind of said to our trainees, like, hey guys, this is what we're working to avoid with you guys. If it seems like, we're doing a lot and what we're trying to get you to, it's not just, hey, here's how to mechanically execute these moves. It's here's how to learn to work. I said, because, and I'm not saying I'm the be-all, end-all, and know-it-all or anything like that at any point. I said, but if that was me, I would have felt my weight land on my opponent and been like, oh shit, I might have just fucked him up or her up or whatever. So instead of rolling over and pinning a possibly winded opponent with a title on the line that's not supposed to change hands, I'd get up to one knee and gloat and flex and look at the camera, look at the people depending on what the setup is, and yeah, that's right, that's me, whatever, and I'd kind of watch at the corner of my eye, see how the ref is reacting with my opponent, and if he's getting up and shaking it off, it's like, okay, cool, like let's find a way to kind of organically get back on track. And if he's not getting it up and shaking it off, then I'd go, kind of, do something dirty, choke him or whatever, so the ref has to come pull me off. And I'd say like, hey, is he okay? To the ref, go check on him. And no, he's fucked up. Okay, I'm going to go do something right now to get myself disqualified. Disqualify me because we don't want to change his belt or whatever. Or no, he just needs another minute or two. Okay, I'm going to roll out of the ring and lip off, whatever. But they don't teach them that, right? That's not part of the program anymore. It's just like, here's these moves, here's the drills you have to do to be able to execute these moves safely and properly, or as safely as possible and properly, and that's it. And here's how long in the day you have to sit there and go over it to memorize it all and be able to do it on TV, and they're not really teaching them the as I said before, the quote-unquote working component of it. And if that part had been there, that wouldn't have happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the knowledge of how to make this whole thing happen. And that's why I hold so much respect for what you guys do, is because you're not just wrestling. You're also having to think about everything. And that's where that, the scripted part of it all comes. And maybe scripted is not the right word, but sorry.
The agreed upon, predetermined,
That's what I mean. Is just like, you guys have to really think about every single thing that goes on. And if you're not thinking in the ring, you're stumbling hard.
Oh, absolutely. And it shows, and my biggest thing too is, being aware of my facial expression, being aware of my body language, because that's something that, especially body language, everyone in the building can see that facial expression. The goal is for everybody to see it, but sometimes they might not, right?
Yeah.
And you never know who's taking a picture and putting it up in that particular moment on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And if you look lost and dumbfounded in that picture, like that translates, right? Or if you look, determined and like, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker on your face, like, hey, that's gold. And someone posts that, like, oh yeah, look at this guy, he looks like a badass. He's gonna wring this guy's neck or whatever. But yeah, there's so much to be aware of and so much going on. And after a while, you get enough reps, it becomes second nature, and it's, it's like driving, right? You don't really got to think too much about it. You just kind of get in there and your muscle memory takes over and you do it. But when you're first starting out, it's a lot of moving parts and a lot of components to really have to come together at once. And, you get worried about like, oh yeah, work the people. Oh shit, I'm not in position. Like, oh shit, he's going to come at me right now, or whatever it is, right? And after a while, all of that comes together. But it is a lot. It's really a lot to take in if you're, taking everything into consideration that you need to be.
Yeah. Well, talking to some of those trainees who've been at it for 2 years and they're finally just getting into it. I'm like,
right.
Holy smokes, that makes sense why it takes 2, 3, 4, 5 even years to.
Yeah.
You're not just stepping in the ring and then tomorrow you're champ. Like.
No, definitely not. Yeah, there is no fast track, right? And there's, I say this to the trainees all the time. I said, there's no such thing as a natural at pro wrestling, because we're doing so much unnatural stuff. Like your body doesn't want to just say, hey, we're just going to fall on purpose and land, like your body wants to say, like, no, we got to twist this way or turn this way or brace yourselves this way, and then you're kind of doing it in a way that not only doesn't look right, but you're risking injury by doing what your instinct says. And so you got to like learn to overcome your instinct and be like, no, you just got to tell your body, hey man, when this guy's coming at me with this, we got to let him do this, or we got to react this way, or we got to put ourselves, tensed up or loosened up or whatever it is, kind of thing for each specific thing. And that takes a lot of reps to really overcome, your body's instincts and the things that you've been doing your whole life.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And but it is one of the greatest things. Like when I say that was the best day of my life going into the Rumble, still.
Absolutely.
And like when I die, that will be probably the number one thing.
It'll be in your obituary.
Yeah. He got his head knocked off, but damn it looked good.
Yes. I'll see to it.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
Who are we kidding, man? I'm not going to outlive you.
No. But I mean, it's been fun. It's been a good run.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Well, it's like, you've been around the country. Like,
yeah.
You've seen it all, small towns, big cities.
Yeah.
What's your favorite place to head up? Like, you see that on the bill and you're like, yeah, we're heading to...
Oh, God, there's a few. I love going to Medicine Hat's great. I don't know what it is. It's a medium-sized... I think it qualifies as a city, people from there are going to, hear this and be like, you motherfucker. But yeah, it's a medium-sized city, it's not Calgary, it's not Edmonton, but it's big enough. But for whatever reason, it's a wrestling town. They are passionate about their wrestling there. Thunder Bay, same thing. And I think Thunder Bay, it's big enough that they got, a bit of a population to pull from, but not so big that they have all these other entertainment options. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of just the right size that we get a really good crowd there, and they love their wrestling, and it's just such a good feeling when it's like, man, I haven't been here for 6 months and my music hits and I haven't even come through the curtain yet and 400 people are booing already. Like, okay, they remember me. All right, now we just made my job easier. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Right?
No, and I love Thunder Bay, and like Medicine Hat, Thunder Bay, they could be like twin cities.
Yeah, they really could. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities between the two. And then there's some like really small ones. So just outside of Winnipeg, like I'm going to say maybe a half hour down the number 2, there's a small little town called Fannystown. I think it has like a 300-person population, and once a year they hire Canadian Wrestling's Elite, CWE, to come and wrestle for their hockey team fundraiser. So they do it like a social where there's drink tickets and a bar and this, that, whatever, prizes in the whole 9 yards, and they fill their little building, which is I'm going to say 200 people, and they are insanely passionate about it. A few years back, I was actually wrestling Val Venus there.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so we get to the point of the match. So Val's in there and he's hitting his greatest hits on me. And we get to the point of the match where it's time for me to I'm going to shut you down, and I'm going to, be the bad guy and be on top and give you something to fight up from underneath from. And so, everybody boos, and I put Val in this chin lock, and this old guy starts storming the ring and trying to come in. I'm like, oh shit. But they had this girl doing security. So she comes as he's trying to figure out how to climb up on the ring, and she just like bear hugs him from behind around the waist, and she's carrying him out the door, and he's kicking and screaming like a rebel the whole way. I just kind of like turned Val. I got him in this chin lock. I turned him. We're just both. There's a picture of us online too, of both of us just like sitting there, me with him in a chin lock, and both of us watching this security guard haul this old guy that tried to hit the ring out the door.
I love that small town.
Yeah.
wrestling.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's great.
I grew up close to Wetaskiwin, Alberta.
Okay.
So I went to their wrestling a couple of times as a kid, because I remember they were like, what? If it's not WWE, it can't be that good. And
right.
Boy, I was wrong, because like some of the guys you'd see out there, I don't even know who they were, but being 9 or 10 years old, just being like...
Was it still Stampede at the time?
No, I don't think it was Stampede. I can't remember who it was that was running
Monster
that.
Pro or RCW.
I think it was RCW.
Yeah.
I think so. So just, again, small time.
Exactly.
But like, it was so much fun to realize how great indie wrestling was.
Oh, and even people that aren't wrestling fans per se, like that don't sit and watch WWE or AEW or anything else, or never have even. If I convince them, like, hey, come with so-and-so, come with the group and check this out, you're going to have fun. They flip that switch like, wow,
oh, yeah.
I did not realize how good of a time it is. And the way I kind of quantified, I said, what other corner of the world, what other subculture is it okay to go out, sit and have drinks, and yell and swear at other adults? And that's not only okay, it's encouraged. That means you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Like nowhere else can you do that. And we've gone the last 2 years to this small town in southwest Manitoba. It's called Deloraine. And my family's all from southwest Manitoba. My mom was a cattle farmer. And so my cousins all come to the show, and they're all, they work the oil rigs or have farms themselves, and they all have kids that are, teenagers, that kind of thing. And a couple of them came to it, and my one cousin comes in, he goes, man, this was awesome. He goes, we went to a Brandon Wheat Kings game last year, and his daughter's, I don't know, 13 or 14. He's like, and, the security was coming up and warning him because, she was calling a guy a pussy for not getting up off the ice and this and that. And now she's yelling at you guys and calling you guys pussies. You guys just turn and beat back at her, and it's great. It's it made her day. She's so happy. She can't wait for the next one. I said, yeah, that's, and depending if it's a very family-friendly show, it's like, maybe don't say that, But I mean, this was, again, another show where they're serving drinks and that kind of thing. Yeah. People are getting a little more, into it and fired up. I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's the beauty of it. I said, there's nothing worse to us in the ring if you're in there and it is dead silent for the whole time. There could be little kind of, peaks and valleys. Sure. Yeah. But if you go in there and you wrestle a 10, 12, 15-minute match and nobody barely makes a noise, it's like, oh, damn, we are either doing something severely wrong or, we're at home for the deaf or something. Yeah. I don't know what's going on here. But I said, that's the worst. I said, yeah, yell at us, cuss at us, call us every name in the book. Yeah. That makes our day. That means we're doing it right.
Yeah, I went to a charity show a couple years ago here in the city, and I just I'm the one who's carrying this crowd because it's not a lively crowd. And it's weird when you're the one guy trying to hype everyone up. You're like, please, someone join in.
I think I remember that one. It was at the West End Cultural Center, was it not? Yeah, I think me and O'Doyle wrestled Red Hot Summer on that one. Yeah. I do remember that. It was I think it was for the St. Devant Center or something, or some cause that's associated with the St. Devant Center. Yeah. Yes, I do remember that, where it was a little like, ooh, this isn't a normal West End Cultural Center crowd, that's for sure.
And is the West End Cultural Center for the independent circuit kind of the high bar? Or
hell yeah. Oh hell yeah. Man, what a crowd. And here's the amazing thing about that crowd. For the majority of them, for the most part, they're not people who were following Winnipeg wrestling, and I might say the company Winnipeg Pro Wrestling. I'm saying just the wrestling that's in Winnipeg. They weren't following the local scene. They weren't following wrestling as a whole. They when WPW started up, and they had a handful of shows, and then COVID kind of shut things down for a while. When they came back, they were there. The people within WPW used their network to kind of say hey, come check this out, and then their network used their network, so on and so on. And just these people that have just never really been to wrestling and seen wrestling or followed wrestling, whatever it is, got there this is awesome, and I am into it. So that's the great part. It's not like they're these preconditioned wrestling fans. And so, and it's funny because some of the tropes about, independent wrestling and whatever, they got them a little bit wrong. There was, when we were doing this last year's Rumble, there was the part with Tommy Lee Curtis there, got in the ring, and someone tried to do something, and he shut him down and beat him up, and everyone's chanting, you fucked up, you fucked up. I'm standing back there with Danhausen. Danhausen's like, you didn't fuck anything up. What's he talking about? Everything looked fine there. I go, no. I said, because typically when you make an error and you execute a move improperly or whatever, that's, that started with ECW. They chant, you fucked up. Hey, you did something that you didn't agree upon, you fucked the move up kind of thing. I said, no, these guys, this crowd doesn't know that. You fucked up means oh, you shouldn't have did that. Yeah. You're gonna get it now. I go, I know, they chanted that at me once. I'm like, no, I didn't. What are you talking about? And then kind of looking back, I'm like, oh, they mean this by that. Which is really, really cool that they're not latching on to what other, independent wrestling promotion crowds are doing. They're discovering it on their own. They're figuring it out on their own, and they're reaction to everything is organic. It's their actual emotion. We're taking them on this ride, and they're just along for the ride, and they're experiencing it without any outside influence, which is amazing.
Yeah. Oh, it's the best. Being in the crowd, in the ring, and then the commentary. And there's been nights in commentary where it's I can't hear through my headphones because it is so loud.
Oh yeah. When we did the show, the event that was leading into the Rumble at the Bird, the Rumble of the Bird, pardon me. And we did the whole thing where me and Ronnie came out to confront Robbie Royce, and I grabbed the mic, and they're all chanting, shut the fuck up, or whatever else, and I'm just trying to talk, and I'm just like, shit, I can't even hear myself. Yeah. Fuck, and they're not slowing down, and they're not quieting down. I just gotta spit this out. Yeah. So I'm going with it, and then I get downstairs after, and the boys are like, wow, that was like Dominic Mysterio, and I'm like, I know, right? I said, that was awesome that they hate me that much.
Yeah, and there's no other feeling in the world. No. Even my, couple hundred people, you fucked up when I slapped Brad.
Yes.
And it's just I'll live for it because that was the best moment.
Oh yeah.
And and so it's I feel for you guys who are wrestlers, because it's like you guys live and die on those highs.
Oh yeah.
And it's like when it comes to an end, it's
kind of like, oh, okay, that's over.
Yeah. Like I'll never experience that ever again.
Yeah, I know, and that's, with me being 7 years in now, pardon me, 47 years old, it's kind of like, well, I'm closer to the end than I am to the beginning. That part's for sure. You know, like I don't have any nagging injuries or anything like that. And I do wrestle in a way that's very geared toward longevity. Like, I don't know if you saw my post a few days ago. I wrestled 88 matches this year. So, actually Devin pointed out there's a way to set the settings on Cage Match, which is a website that tracks all these stats for who is the most active wrestlers for each calendar year kind of thing. And some of them are being missing. Like some of these matches don't go on public record. It's a promotion that might be just a fundraiser, kind of like that one you went to. That one didn't go on public record or whatever. Right? So, but I mean, everybody's on a level playing field because everybody probably has a handful of matches that didn't go on public record. But anyways, so in North America, there was close to 7,000 wrestlers that wrestled the match in 2025. And the group of us that do the CWE and WPW shows, 11 of us were in the top 100.
Wow.
Because WWE doesn't do house shows anymore, right? They only do television. So it used to just be populated by those guys. And now that they're just, if they have a match that week, sometimes they're just in a segment or whatever. If they have a match that week, that's the only match they're getting, right? So those guys are a lot further down the list. So that opens up the floor for a lot of us. So it's essentially Mexico, and the top 100, Mexico, a couple of guys that live and girls that live in the Northeast United States, that really are putting their mind to the grind, and Winnipeg guys that are in the top 100 of like 7,000 people with 3 matches or more to qualify, kind of thing, which is mind blowing that we're out there and we're doing something that no one else on the continent is doing, like getting out there and wrestling as much as we do. And they're quality reps too. It's and I'm not trying to shit on anyone else, but there are little pockets here and there that are in very remote areas where, say, they might have a community hall where they all just wrestle each other once a week, and that's great. That's awesome that they're doing that. But there's no progression. There's no evolution to that. And with us, I did the math. I'm like, wow, I was in there with 7 different WWE and TNA names, some of them 4 or 5 times in those 88 matches. Plus, these guys that are coming through that are, pretty big indie stars and international guys, or guys that are well respected as well, kind of thing. So not only am I, out there a lot, I'm getting reps in there with a lot of quality names. It's something that I'm incredibly grateful for, and I hope doesn't come to an end anytime soon. But eventually it will, and I've thought of that. I'm like, you know what? I'll transition to ring announcing, or I'll transition to just hanging out and helping give guys points, whatever it is. It's like I'll never go away. I might not be able to get in the ring and do it anymore, but I can't see any part of me ever just stepping away completely and be like, well, wrestling as a whole is behind me. Good luck with the industry, you guys. See ya, bye.
Yeah,
that's never gonna happen.
A world without Kevin Cannon wrestling is
exactly.
Like you are a part of the Winnipeg scene. So like, who are you putting on your Mount Rushmore?
Of the Winnipeg scene?
Of the Winnipeg scene.
Oh,
without Jericho or Omega.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna go all time?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to omit anyone that's ever signed with like WWE or WCW TNA, just because that's that's a different level. Exactly. That's always well, Roddy Piper, of course, right? We're gonna omit those guys. So, and again, I can only go by what I've been around to see. So there might be guys from the 80s who I've never, who did a lot, but I don't know who they are because I've never seen them. So we're talking, mid to late 90s and on. Number one's going to be Chi Cruz is going to be on there because he was at the forefront for years, for that entire decade of the 90s. It was, he was mentioned in the same breath with Chris Jericho and Lance Storm and those guys very often, and Edge and Christian and whatever, and he was just as good as them and just as capable of them, and for whatever reason it was just timing and wrong place and wrong time and being in front of the wrong person just never led to him getting through that door to that level, which in a selfish way did help the rest of us because it kept him around Winnipeg for the most part, so we had someone of that caliber to help us and help be, hey, here's how it's done and here's what you should do and I want you to think of it in these terms and this way and kind of here's how the whole beast of pro wrestling works. So I'm gonna put Chi Cruz in there. Second, I'm going to put Danny Duggan. So Danny has been nothing shy. Like, I think he was 14 or something like that when he started.
I didn't realize he was that young.
Yeah, 14 or 15 or something like young enough anyway. And he has been nothing shy of a student of the game that entire time. And during a time when not many people were getting out there and traveling, they were just kind of staying localized to Winnipeg. He, along with Kenny Omega and a couple other guys, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to grind and I'm going to learn from other guys. And he traveled around Canada and the United States, and then he started his own promotion again, like in his early to mid 20s. He's running this promotion, and now it's the busiest promotion. I could be wrong, I could be misquoting, but it's one of the busiest promotions in North America. It's 17 years in, and he's not even 40 years old yet.
No.
And this promotion's 17 years in, and and it's a very successful promotion. And Canadian Wrestling's elite, and he has not shown any signs of slowing down either. He's had to change his style a little bit as he gets into his late 30s, but he's still really good in the ring and really understands psychology and really can get in there in front of any crowd and read them and be, okay, this is what this crowd needs, and execute. So for that reason, Danny Duggan's going on there. Third, I'm going to have to put Mentolo. Mentolo is again, one of those guys who started in the late 90s, and right out of the gates, it was like, wow, this guy's good. He's got some athleticism. He's doing stuff that a lot.
How old is he? Because I thought he was like late 20s, early 30s.
No, I don't know for sure, but he was around before I was.
Oh.
So
he looks good.
Yeah. Oh, he's always kept himself in incredible shape. He's gone to Japan. He's gone to Mexico. He's gone all over Canada and the U.S. and he's helped a lot with training a lot of guys, myself included. It's great having these guys where I can say to Mentolo, like, hey, Mentolo, can you watch my match for me and tell me what you think? And he'll have something for me. He'll come back like, I want you to think of this in terms of this, or I saw this and it kind of didn't look right. Like, why don't you try this? So we're still bouncing ideas off each other, and he's still doing it at a top level. And across Canada, everybody recognizes that, and everybody's they're bringing him into other provinces and into the U.S. and that kind of thing, because he will give you that main event match every single time without question. And he's just again, he behind the scenes as well, he knows how to conduct himself, right? If he chose to, he could be very he could be conceited if he wanted to. He's earned that, but he's not. He's very he keeps himself humble. He keeps himself very like, hey, what do you need, and like, how can I be of assistance, and that kind of thing. So he's a great person to be around, and he's great in the ring. So Mentolo gets that third spot. Now the fourth spot. I'm going to have to put AJ Sanchez in that fourth spot. Yes. And sometimes AJ's an unsung hero. Yep. Sometimes we don't recognize what a veteran he is in the ring, and what he brings to the table to just the match itself that he's going to be in, where it's like, oh wow, like, this is a guy that can get in there, and again, no matter what his role is, he's got the people eating out of the palm of his hand every single time, and sometimes it's very different roles, but it doesn't matter. He embraces it. AJ has really done a lot to take it upon himself to help train this generation of wrestlers. He's been in that role for I want to say pretty close to a decade now, and he's done, the proof is in the pudding. Like, he's done an amazing job with all these guys, from James Roth to Sammy Peppers to Bentley to Cheeks to Brax, all these guys that are coming through. They've all got the AJ Sanchez training certification on them, right? And
yeah.
None of those guys are slouches by any stretch of the imagination, and I'm sure there's some that I'm forgetting as well. But yeah, and I think sometimes AJ doesn't get his, to coin an overused phrase, AJ doesn't get his flowers. But yeah, AJ definitely has done a lot over the last 2 decades to really prop up the professional wrestling scene here in Winnipeg.
Yeah, 100%. And he was the guy that trained me for that spot.
Right.
And he could have let those guys kick my ass
for
6 weeks straight. He took care of me.
Absolutely.
If you are in Winnipeg and you're on the fence about training, do it with Sanchez. Do it with you.
Yes.
You guys are just fantastic. I bounced ideas off of you guys.
Hell yeah.
It was a one-time thing. I didn't think it was going to go anywhere besides the one-time stupid jackass on the radio getting his ass beat. But it's just awesome what you guys do. And you guys obviously care so much about it. That's what really bleeds through, is guys who genuinely care. Just want to see the next generation succeed at this business. Because it can be we'll just kick the ladder down because I've already made my spot. So
Exactly.
why should I bother helping you up?
Yes. I've seen that, and not that every single wrestler before me did that, but there was a lot of that in the late 90s. When wrestling was just so popular, there was just a huge crop of new trainees coming in, and there was definitely some resentment from the people that had been there a while, where they're like, fuck these guys, let them suffer, let them figure it out on their own. There was some guys that were really, really cool that helped us out a lot, Chi Cruz being one of them, Brother Midnight, Stan Saxon being another one of those guys. But there was also for every one of those, there was 4 or 5 guys like, nah, you can figure it out.
And it goes for a lot of industries.
I think so.
I've been here long enough. Fuck you.
Yes.
Shit, I had a question and then I just lost it. Okay, who were you when you were a child and you got into wrestling? Who were you beating, like not beating up, but like wrestling with on a regular basis? Did you have like a best friend or a brother or something?
Oh, my brother. Yes. Yeah. Oh man, like my brother's knee is still fucked up from a time where we were wrestling in the basement and he went to like drop his knee on me and I moved and his knee hit the concrete floor. it still bugs him to this day. Yes. Oh yeah.
I love that so much. Like, my best friend growing up, he was Taekwondo and like black belt. He's legit. He gave me like a 30% kick one time and I was limping for a week. But he and I would wrestle and beat the shit out of each other for like 45 minutes at a time because neither of us was willing to quit.
There's actually a wrestler. He's not around much anymore. He was in the same training class with me in Don Callis' class in 1999. His name's Chris Stevens. And I was friends with his older brother. Like his older brother's only 2 years older than him. And there was a group of us. We'd all go to one buddy's place after school, and we'd play Sega Genesis, and we'd beat the shit out of each other and stuff. And so Chris Stevens' dad. So Chris Stevens, nice enough guy, but he's definitely one of those guys where I remember like the first couple of shots we went on for Tony Condello, he brought a CD Discman and he just had the soundtrack to the Final Fantasy PlayStation game on it. That's all he's definitely not a sports guy, but his dad is a very like, listen to dad rock, dad, my kid's into sports, right on, I'm coming down, right? So anyways, we were wrestling around, like me, his older brother Lee, and a few other buddies, and we had one guy had another guy in the hole, and we fell onto the couch and an elbow went through the wall. I'm like, oh shit. So Lee runs across the street and gets his dad. His dad comes over, patches it up so that buddy's parents don't figure it out. And then later once, and I didn't know that was his brother until the dad started coming around. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, yeah, you guys do kind of look alike. All right. And so sure enough, one of the first shows that his dad came to, he's like, hey, funny enough, you should get into wrestling. I remember patching a hole in the wall because you guys were wrestling in the fucking basement. And I'm like, yeah. Thank you again for that.
I love it. Yeah. No, like growing up in rural Alberta, we'd have like giant snow piles everywhere.
Yeah.
We lack them here in Winnipeg.
Yes.
And I just like, the King of the Mountain was my favorite.
Oh, yes.
Like, you get thrown off 20 feet of snow, you're like, oh, my back hurts, but like, I gotta win this thing.
Yeah.
Or trampoline wrestling.
Yes.
I don't know, have you ever seen those kids on Instagram? It's like from 2011, these like 9-year-old kids just doing like Jeff Hardy moves.
Yeah, I have seen that. I was like, man, and every time you kind of like gasp, like one of them's gonna break their fucking neck. It's like, holy shit, where are the parents?
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like I did that. All those.
Yeah.
moves.
Oh, me too. Yes.
Like,
absolutely.
Jeff Hardy was the best and the worst for it, because like growing up when I did watching wrestling, cause I was like, I can do a back or I can do a front flip, no problem.
Right. Yeah.
It's like you try to do it, you're like, yeah, you grazed my head on the trampoline, but it's okay.
Yeah, I'll just get better. Gradually get better. I'll never have that close of a call again.
Never.
I'm just gonna get better and better, right? Yeah.
Oh, just so much bullshit. Who is the one guy that's like, if I got the chance to take him on in the ring, who is that guy for you?
Oh God. Still wrestling would be Jeff Jarrett.
Ooh.
I love Jeff Jarrett because he does such an amazing job of taking maybe just like slightly more than the fundamentals and putting them in order, putting them in a way that tells that story and makes you love him or makes you hate him or whatever. He doesn't do a lot of complicated stuff, but he just does all the basics so fucking good. Mm-hmm. And he really, whoever he's in there with, because he's such an elder statesman now, right? Where if he's in there with someone, they're wrestling his style of match. But again, he incorporates what they can do to it. And I remember the first time AEW came to Canada Life Center, it was Jeff Jarrett versus Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy's not a traditional wrestler, right? He does that whole hands in the pocket stuff, whatever. But the best match on that entire evening was Jeff Jarrett versus Orange Cassidy because Jeff Jarrett knows how to wrestle a gimmick guy, a guy with a gimmick. And so he's like, okay, here's how we're going to do it, and here's how we're going to get your stuff in a way that makes sense. And it was a really good match. And I'm like, oh man, that's totally him that put that together. I would, the only problem with that is there's a lot of stuff that I've borrowed from him, so I'd really have to take some of that out. But all time though, not active would be Shawn Michaels.
Nice.
I would absolutely just love to be in there with him. I've been in there with enough guys that are, these well-traveled guys from around the world, where I see when you're in there with someone that's so good and so smooth, that it's like, oh wow, I can tell that he's adjusting to me and he's making me look good.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of get that feeling, you get that sense when you're in there with someone. It's like, oh shit, I was kind of a little slower, but the guy was right there. He just adjusted to me being slightly slower or quicker or off center, whatever the hell it was. And Sean is 100% one of those guys where it's like, oh yeah, he would make me look like $1 million.
100%. And it's like you wrestle with guys that have been in TNA and WWE.
Tons, yeah.
Like tons, like Brian Kendrick and Chris Masters, and they're tons. But what sets those kind of guys apart, from like a WWE guy to like anyone that you wrestle?
Some of them
indie.
Yeah, so some of the guys, like even local guys, some of them they would belong there. There's not a lot of difference in some of them, but basically the WWE guys and the TNA guys and that kind of stuff, their biggest thing is they know how to optimize everything. They know how to be like, here's how we're going to get the most out of what it is we're doing without having to do too much, because they're so used to that schedule where they were wrestling a couple hundred times a year, right? So you can't get in there a couple hundred times a year and go and not, be a mummy wrapped in bandages just full of injuries, right? You have to, but you still have to give people what they paid for. You can't go in there and be lazy either. So there is an art to being like, okay, let's give them enough that they're happy, but not so much that we kill ourselves. And those guys are so good at that. And even some of these little things where where you suggest something and it's like, you know what, we can get just as much if we do this and really milk it and make it look like it was something bigger than it was, than doing this, and this. And it's like, oh yeah, you're right, cool. And it's fun. Like Eugene is really good with that. Like Eugene's a master of that, where he's even like, hey man, why'd you make me take a bump? Like that was unnecessary. He's like that, but he's not wrong. When you watch it back, you're like, oh yeah, I really didn't need to. He's like, yeah, we could have just built to that instead of you just doing it arbitrarily. So these guys really have helped me learn to preserve my body, essentially. Because that was the name of the game with those guys with the road schedule that they faced in their time. Like there was no way you could get in there and just have this super duper match every time you're in the ring, because you wouldn't last. Yeah.
I mean, probably 200 times a year minimum.
Yeah, exactly.
That's outrageous.
Yeah.
And even doing 80, I'm like, oh,
yeah, I know,
that's
right?
a lot.
Yeah, I was in there last year, or 2 years ago, I guess now, 2024. I had 14 matches with Savio Vega in 2024. And so the first night I wrestled him was actually in Thunder Bay. And so, he had whatever put together for us. Okay, this, and this, and a lot of it's like, okay, well, and then we'll feel it out, the rest out in there. And so, I'm communicating with him, he's communicating with me, and it came together really nicely. And it helps that Thunder Bay crowd is a really good crowd, right? And then as soon as we get in the back, Savio starts going to Danny, this kid. Danny's like, yeah, he's one of our young up-and-comers. This kid is money. He's like, switch the rest of the matches so I just wrestle him every night. This kid is money, man. He's doing the shit that I'm trying to teach my guys back home to do. He's taking his time. He's talking. He's calling simple things. He's being in position for me, and then I'm in position for him, and he's right there. And Danny's like, I can't just switch these cards around because, promise these guys. He's like, but he was coming back for a second tour. That was the Ontario tour. He's coming back for the Western Canada tour in a couple months. He goes, when you're on the Western loop, I'll put you as many times as I can with Cannon, kind of thing, so that you're in there. And yeah, it was just great every night. And he says to Danny and me, he goes, you know what? He goes, I could change the finish on you mid-match and you'd be there for it. And you would get it. You'd be there for it, because, that's how calm and in tune you are with things. I'm like, oh, and I thank you so much, man. And I was just overly, gratitude, like I was like, thank you so much, like what a compliment, like the whole thing that he said. And so the final night we're in Dakota Valley, is that what it's called? No, Sioux Valley, pardon me, which is a reserve, and sometimes they'll they'll pay a flat rate for us to come in and wrestle for the residents kind of thing. So that's what the case was. And so it's me versus Savio. So we're in there. We're at the point of the match. We're starting to get to the time to wrap things up and end it. And he goes, just follow me. I'm like, what? He starts like hitting the ropes and doing all this stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? I'm just going with him, whatever. And then finally we get to, and then he hits this big flying spin kick on me that I knew he had in him. He just didn't want to do it every night. And boom, 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, you just weren't feeling the regular finish? He's like, motherfucker, what did I say to you the first night I met you? And I'm like, you can change the finish and I'd be there for it. Yeah. That's right. He's like, all right, I wanted to prove it. I'm like, oh shit. And he was such a character too. Like he's one of those guys, he tries to make you break character and laugh in the ring. I'm like, fuck off, man. Like, so we would do a thing to set up an 8-man tag in some of these places. So I'd wrestle him in a singles match. Eventually, he'd get up on top of me. Danny would come out and interfere. More bad guys come out, beat. The good guys come out, run us off. We'd all the bad guys, we'd dive out of the ring. And then the good guys would lay the challenge. Hey, how about an 8-man elimination? Like a Survivor Series type match. And so I got Savio in the corner and I'm stomping on him. He's sitting on the mat and I'm standing, I'm stomping on his chest kind of thing. And then, the rest of the good guys are running out and we're supposed to dive out. They're not supposed to get their hands on us. And Savio wraps his arms around my ankle. I'm pulling. Like, let me fucking go. He's sitting there giggling. I'm like, you fucking asshole. I'm like, one of the guys is like about to grab me. He lets go. I had to like dive out of the ring and almost eat shit on the post. I'm like, you motherfucker. And I see him, still sitting on the corner like he just got beat up, but he's covering his mouth with his arm, giggling. I'm like, you fucking asshole. And we're in Morden and I'm wrestling him. And so, we're at the section of the match where I'm in control, and I throw a forearm to his back, and he kind of like, does this like shock, but doesn't registers it, but like starts coming up. I'm like, okay, he's doing the Hogan where you punch him, and then he starts doing that, kind of the Tatanka war dance kind of thing. Like, what the hell? And I throw a punch, he blocks it, and he gives me a tomahawk chop. I throw another, I hit the mat. I throw another punch, he blocks it, and he gives me that tomahawk chop again. And then I shut him down and whatever. Then after I go to him, I'm like, hey man, what the fuck was all that? He's like, oh, that's my bro Tatanka. He's my friend. I'm like, yes, I know who does it. I'm like, what the fuck were you doing? He's like, because that's my bro, man. I can do his shit. I'm like, all right, fine. And then the next night we were in Winnipeg, and there's a few more guys that don't come on the road, so that do just the Winnipeg event on these CWE tours. So, it's like just the 8-man, right? Because we have to condense things a little. So the spot for Savio to eliminate me was me watching my 2 tag team guys brawl off with Red Hot Summer. I'm like, guys, where you going? I turn around, Savio's behind me, turn around, he hits a big, thrust kick or whatever on me, 1, 2, 3. And so as I back up into him, he's like, turn around and throw a punch. I'm like, oh, you fucking motherfucker. So I turn around, throw a punch, he blocks it, tomahawk chop. I'm like, oh, you fucking asshole. I get up and he hits his big kick and 1, 2, 3. And it's so great being out there with these guys. But you're learning that kind of stuff by being in there with these guys that have done this for decades and at the highest level. It's like, okay, cool. And a while back, a few of us, myself and Jackson Conway and this other guy Dregney, we went down to Michigan to wrestle for a promotion there just outside of Detroit. And the guy that runs it, he kind of a similar model where he brings in a lot of the former stars. He said, you know what, one of the best ones we ever brought in was Rock and Roll Express. He said Ricky Morton did a little seminar, and he said, you don't start getting good at it until you start having fun. And at first I'm like, yeah, I like that, yeah. But I'm like, no, but he's right. He goes, because if you're sitting there worried about, okay, what's next? Am I gonna fuck up? And I gotta then you're not good. People can read that on you, right? But if you're just like, fuck it, let's go out there, like let's make the magic happen, right? Then people pick up on that too, and that's kind of what you learn by being in there with guys at that level, right? It's like, just relax, we'll get through it one way or another, yeah.
Yeah, because like I'm doing the same thing with radio. So in September, I was ready to quit. I was like, fuck it, I'm done. But I'll do this until I get fired.
Right. Oh God.
Like I'm okay with it. And then it just like all of a sudden it's just like, oh, I'm having a ton of fun. And then my boss like, you've taken your couple steps forward. Like, holy fuck, I just had to want to quit. And that was it.
Just loosen up and just throw caution to the wind.
Yeah.
He was, real quick aside, I have to share this because it's a great story. So, again, like I said, now we're, when you're on tour, you're spending all this time with these guys in a car, at the hotel, having a beer, or bite to eat, or whatever kind of thing. So Savio told this story. So when it was the late 90s, they did like the whole gang wars thing, and Savio was the leader of the Los Boricuas, and there was also the Hart family, or foundation at the time, pardon me. And then Crush was the leader of the bikers, the DOA. So there was, a non-televised event, a house show, right? And it was Savio versus Crush. So Savio, during that stretch, he would either wear like black slacks kind of thing, or khakis or whatever, and I'm pretty sure it was black pants this night, or he would have said otherwise. He said he was in there in the match against Crush, and there was a crew of them, and him and Crush were really good buddies, right? And he said, he ate a gas station tuna sandwich or something that didn't agree with his stomach, and he shit his pants in the ring. So he said to Crush, like, hey man, we got to end this match. Like, I shit my pants. I have shit my pants. And Crush pretended not to hear him and just kept picking him up and slamming him over and over in his shitted pants in front of a couple thousand people, right? And then so finally Savvy goes, so I just grabbed him and I shot a head scissors on him. I'm holding him in that head scissors and said, hey motherfucker, you ready to end this match yet? And Crush like, yeah. And they got up and went into the finish. And I'm like, man, the fact that you're doing this in front of thousands of people and just goofing off, but you're still giving them what they paid for, and, and you're having fun too. Because if you're not having fun, and the minute it becomes a drag, and the minute it becomes another day at the salt mines, it's like, then why are you doing it, man?
Yeah.
Go get an office job, you know?
Right?
Go work in the factory, right?
Like, it's, if you don't love wrestling or whatever you're doing, like, the fun, quote-unquote jobs, it's like, you're go back to a regular job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, you've been relegated. Did you do the Death Tour when you were training with Dad? Costello?
With Tony Cadello there? Tony, with Don Callis. I did one when I was really young, like I was about 2 or 3 years in, and there was a handful of us, and it was an experience. I was so excited to do it. Looking back on it, I would not do it now just because I'm not a diva by any stretch, but it's like, man, there's a stretch there where there's like 2-3 days without a shower. Yeah, dude. And you're sitting on this bus and you're just, driving on the ice and you're, you're just freezing your ass off. And there's always, with these remote communities, if somebody passes away, then the whole community shuts down, right? So they'll still pay you for the day, but they cancel the event, the show. So you just get to town. It's like, cool, just sit around for a day now. It's like, oh, great, awesome. But they're an experience, and I still do recommend it to the younger guys if the opportunity comes up. Like, hey, do it to see what it's like and to see what it's all about, and that's really getting out there and roughing it as much as it goes. You get paid really well, when it's all said and done. Yeah, you get great money, and if you are able to get T-shirts or keychains, whatever kind of thing, some merchandise of some sort to sell, because these communities get nothing. They get no entertainment.
Yeah.
So
it is their WrestleMania.
Yeah, that is their WrestleMania. So if you can get up there and sell some 8x10s and some shirts, and everybody does, on top of whatever you're getting paid there to wrestle, you can get home with a decent sum of money in your pocket. Yeah, but I mean what you have to be mentally prepared to do is something at 47 years old. I don't think I would be have my hand up too quick to do it anymore.
Yeah, you got to be 28 or younger if you pull that kind of stuff.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Because Bobby Shink, I know he did it a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think he still does it every year with them.
Does he really?
Yes, yeah.
What a trooper.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's great. He's a gem.
He is.
Yeah.
He's always one of the guys that makes sure he gets a little conversation with me. I'm like, I'm trying so hard here, man, but you're such a good guy.
Yeah, he is. He definitely.
Larger than life, truly.
And I have had some fun matches with him. My absolute favorite was, I don't know, a year, maybe 2 years ago. I'm wrestling him at the Western Cultural Center. And so he does the whole thing with the syrup bottle, where that's, like Popeye spinach, right? That's his source of his powers to fire, whatever it is, right? So a lot of times we'll just, have it where while I'm beating him up, he's trying to get to the syrup and I'm shutting him down, and then eventually he foils something that I do. He gets the syrup and we're off to the races, right? And then so I said, okay, maybe what we can do is I'll take the syrup, like, hey, I'm just gonna throw this out in the crowd or dump it out or whatever. I'm like, I'll turn it and I'm like, and I'll have it in my hand, and you just kind of clap your hands on my hand, and I'll throw it up in the air, and I'll do a kind of a 360, like waving my hands like I just touched a hot stove kind of thing. And when I turn back around, you're standing there chugging it, and I'm like, oh God, no! And then away we go. And he goes, yeah, okay. So what we didn't take into consideration is that me holding this syrup with the lid on, it's full, and then when he claps my hands, that squeezes that bottle, that lid's gonna fire off like a champagne cork. So it goes up in the air, and I see the lid fly off, and I'm still, waving my hands like I just touched a hot stove. Like I said, turn around, like, please don't be a whole lot. Please don't be a lot. Please don't be a lot. And to make matters worse, the referee that was in the ring owns that canvas.
Oh, no.
Yes. So I'm turning around, and then as I turn around, it's all over him. It's all over the canvas. And the ref just has this look on his face like, you sons of bitches. And he's like, here we go. If I blow a knee out, I got this syrup. I guess that's it. Bam, bam, bam. So we're just covered. Like, I'm covered in it. He's covered in it. The canvas is covered in it. And there's another match immediately after us. And so we're just soaked in syrup. 1, 2, 3. We get back there, and there it was Danny and Anderson Tyson Moore, and I can't remember who else was waiting there for it. And I'm just like, you know, like obviously they had to shotgun an intermission to get get the staff in there to clean up as much of it as they could. I walked past, I'm like, just coated in syrup. I'm like, I am so sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Thank God the West End Cultural Center has a shower,
right?
Because there's some venues that do not. You know, I was like, oh God. I'm like, I don't even want to face anyone right now. And like, it's enough that I can laugh about it now, but at the time it's like, okay, from now on, like, let's find a way to make, you know, this syrup just look like syrup and not actually be syrup.
Yeah,
you know?
right?
Like, maybe put some cornstarch and food coloring or something.
There's still syrup in that.
No, there's still syrup. Yeah.
Bobby doesn't care. No. If you were to talk to a young Kevin Cannon, like that first night that he goes into training, what are you telling him?
I think I think the biggest thing I would recommend to myself in 1999 would be to take my health a little more seriously, because those first few years I didn't, and not to say that I was, you know, walking a razor's edge or anything, but I definitely could have been a little more in tune with my diet, my frequency of going to the gym, and you know, so there was a couple of years where I did it a little bit, but not anywhere near as I should, as much as I should have. And then once I kind of dialed that in, I found not only did that reduce the risk of getting hurt, not only did that help me be aesthetically more look like, hey, this is a guy who can hold his own in a fight, which is, you know, part of the presentation. It also just helps with everything. It helps you look like you belong, kind of thing, right? So yeah, my biggest piece of advice that I would give any young person starting out is, hey, protect, you know, like to help protect yourself, like you have to be in shape. And we just have a new crop of trainees that started a couple months ago, and and some of the guys that are still wrestling the matches, or most of the guys are still wrestling matches that are already wrestling matches, pardon me, will still come down and participate in the training. So at the end of it, you know, we're doing, you know, just holding plank and doing some sit-ups and some whatever, some core exercises, and they're all young, right? And it's just new movements and stuff that they're not used to, and they're all just collapsing during it. And there's like, you know, me, Brax, and Cheeks just having a conversation while we're doing it, you know. And after I said, okay, guys, this is a really important part of things, because you're tired. It's the end of the class and you're tired. I go, but you're going to get to the end of a match where you're tired, and I'm still going to need you to keep me safe. I'm still going to need you to pick me up and slam whatever in a way that you're not dropping me on my fucking head. So we got to, you know, you can do this at home, man. And it is 2025/6, right? Like you can go onto your Chat GPT and you can put in at-home body weight workout to strengthen shoulders, back, and whatever you want. You can, and it'll just here's stuff you can do with just a chair and your body weight, you know, kind of
yeah,
thing, right?
exactly. So, like I forced myself to do at least 3 minutes of planks, and I've been like slowly increasing that. I think I started at 90 seconds back in August. I'm like,
oh wow, oh good for you,
yeah. No, I'm like, oh shit, I've got like a decent core now, so it doesn't take much.
Yeah, and that will help prevent injury as well. Like your core, there's so many movements that come from your core, and like I boxed for 20 years as well, so that's a huge part of throwing punches, right? With the exception of your jab, everything's coming from your core. So like every workout we did had to end with like this big core workout, and it was a lot of, okay, now we're holding plank, and now stick one hand out in the air for 30 seconds during this plank. It's like, ah, shit, you know.
So okay, I didn't know that you boxed. Yeah. But like, how do you manage to like also keep guys safe when you're wrestling, and then also like making sure that you're getting a good punch when you're like, were you actually pro boxing, or is it just like training boxing?
It was local level, so it was through Brickhouse Gym, and so Boxing Manitoba has a lot of like, hey, if you want to be on a card, you got to do this, and this. So we would do what's called interclub sparring. So we would essentially have cards that didn't go on the books, kind of thing. And then I was coaching it, so they paid for me to go to Sport Manitoba and get my coaching certification. And then you're not in there just doing boxing specific coaching training. It's just you're next to a snowboarding coach and a volleyball. It's just across the board things that you can apply, and I've really used that a lot in wrestling to apply to when AJ and Sammy Peppers is a big part of the training now as well, and I are down there training the new trainees. I've been able to apply a lot of the stuff I learned through that. But essentially, the biggest part of it is, you know, you still gotta hit them, but do it in a way where you're not gonna break someone's jaw or nose or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, like just do it in a spot where if it connects a little more, it's not gonna kill the guy. Yeah, that's the trick. That's the trick.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's really interesting that you did like both like boxing and wrestling. Like 20 years, like that's a long time to take shots to the noggin.
A couple times a week. Yeah. Yeah. But again, it was a lot of fun. Like, it was, and it really helps a lot with conditioning, but also footwork and just the mentality of like, okay, if I was really standing across from an opponent where I'm trying to win and he's trying to win, what would I do and what wouldn't I do? And it helps get you to that mindset as well. I feel it's really helped improve the believability of what you're doing if you've actually been in that situation where you're like, okay, this guy's trying to beat me in this combat sport and I'm trying to beat him in this combat sport. What would I not do? You know, like, then don't do that. You know?
Yeah, no, I like, again, being a mark, the guy that I am, I can see that's like, that guy's actually been in some fights.
Right.
You can look at guys, and I'm not going to call out whoever has not been in a fight, but you can definitely see the guys who've actually taken a jab to the jaw.
Yes, exactly.
The guys who haven't.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that. So at these WPW events, recently the matriarch has been coming in, and if you have never taken the time to talk to her, she might very well be the sweetest human being walking the face of the earth, man. She is such a great person. And then the first time that I saw her involved in some physicality, I'm just like, wow, she's believable too. I'm like, she looks like that would hurt if she hit me.
Oh yeah.
like I'm like, damn, does he like goddamn and the people gravitate to her, and that's part of it. I think like that's not the only reason why. She just has this genuine personality to her where it's like people pick up on genuineness. Like people can pick up on if you're just playing or if you're actually that person kind of thing. And she's got that genuineness to her kind of thing where like, man, I want to cheer for her because she seems awesome. Yeah. And she is awesome. Yeah. She's such a great person.
Yeah. And like, if you haven't seen the matriarch, like just genuinely the most anti-lady you've ever met.
Oh yeah,
like, that's the only way I can
describe one of the guys.
Yeah, she really is.
Yeah, she really is.
Because you know she'd beat the shit out of someone saying something ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
but at the same time, she's gonna rip on someone too.
Oh hell yeah, love being in a locker room with her. Like love her to pieces.
Yeah. So you also work at Hooters.
That's right.
Thank you for this.
Yes.
What is the best flavor of wings?
Oh god, so. Myself being of Irish descent, I cannot handle spicy. Like to me, it's like, oh man, there's some onion in there. That's a little too spicy for me. You know? My absolute favorite is the Daytona beach wings. So it's like a barbecue sauce with a little bit of kick to it. Not enough to make your mouth tingle, but enough to let you know it's there. Yeah. And a bit of honey to it too.
Ooh.
Yeah, they did. Well, easy for me to say. The Daytona beach sauce is definitely my go-to.
Yeah, go to your local Hooters there, friends, because unbelievable wings.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's all I've got, Kevin. So thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been a blast. As I did in 2025, I've got a busy schedule coming up. So January 9th, 10th, and 11th, I'm in Ontario in Thunder Bay, Fort Francis, and Dryden. And then
this will probably come out after that. But if you're no problem.
Then on January 22nd, as part of the Winterruption Festival, Winnipeg Pro Wrestling returns to our home of the West End Cultural Center. Yeah, that one's gonna be a lot of fun. And then the very next day, Canadian Wrestling's Elite is at Rookie Sports Bar. Ooh. And then the very next day after that, on the 24th, Canadian Wrestling's Elite is in Steinbach, Manitoba. And that is going to feature a blindfold match that I will be in Manitoba's first ever blindfold match, paying tribute to my homeboy, Rick Martel and Jake Roberts.
I love it. I cannot wait. Get your tickets to go see Kevin Cannon. Guys of Beauty, fabulous wrestler, and support your local wrestling scene. That's my big ticket for you for 2026. So, Kevin, have yourself a good one.
You as well. Thank you.
Enjoy 2026. Hope to see you in the top 50 next year.
Absolutely.